There we go. Sup, ladies and gentlemen, Akalon here, and welcome back to each and one of you. And of course, if you're watching this over on YouTube, please remember to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and as always, come join us live. It is always better when it's live, ladies and gentlemen. Happy to be back. It is Tuesday afternoon. It is hot as all fuck here in South Africa. Like, it is stupid at the minute. It is truly just absolutely stupid hot. Tried to go outside to give the, actually I did go outside to give the doggos some water, and I nearly died. It's just, as soon as that heat hits you, it's like, fuck my life. This is miserable. HBJ, how you doing, brother? HBJ, I saw you asked me a question about, it was you, right? That asked me about my schedule. Was that correct? Shadow Grow, how you doing? I think it was you over on Twitter. Ad attack, fuck my life. Alright, don't worry. I'll talk to you. Andy, how you doing? I'll talk to you as soon as we're as soon as you're back from the ads. Robostall, how you doing, brother? Malthrax, how you doing? Just quickly, Killigan, you motherfucker! Thank you for the tier 1 sub, comrade. Really appreciate the money, bro. Thank you. How you doing, Killigan? Midkoto, how you doing, brother? I only have an hour. Horny Alpha, how you doing? I discovered you a few weeks ago, not long after I got back into WoW after a 10-year break. Hey, Horny Alpha, thank you very much. Really appreciate that, bro. I hope you're enjoying the content. I can't say that I'm too friendly to World of Warcraft at the moment, but you know, hopefully that'll change. Hopefully Blizzard will fix their shit eventually. Eddie, how you doing, bro? JCX, how you doing, brother? Welcome back, man. I was so busy last few months. Nice to see you again. Robostall, it is happy to have you back, brother. It's happy to have you back. Sadly, it's on a day that I literally have an hour to stream. I have so much crap that needs doing. So much shit that needs doing. It's a fuck up. So once I'm done, usually at the beginning of every month, there's like a few days where I have to do all sorts of errands and shit. And I can't do those in the evening time when I usually have some time to do shit like that, because then everything's closed. Planning on being part of the council. I signed up for it, Killigan. I did sign up for it. I will not be selected. I can almost guarantee you that, right? Another mutinification group for Blizz. Killigan, what do you mean? No, I'm definitely gonna be. I'm definitely not gonna be accepted. Right? I am way too critical of the game. We'll talk about that. That's one of the things we're going to be discussing tonight. Or today, rather. Fucking me, tonight. It's only 3 in the afternoon. So yeah, we'll talk about that. We have some interesting things that we have to talk about. That being one of them. I'm trying to see now. There was something else I wanted to discuss today. There was 2 things that I wanted to talk about. Now I can't fucking remember the second one. Oh yeah, there's an interview with Ian. I remember now. There's an interview with Ian. That's the thing I wanted to discuss. Ariani, how you doing? Venture Beat had an interview with Ian. Yeah, we'll be discussing these things today. We'll talk a little bit about Ian's interview. And we'll talk about the community, the new community thing that Blizzard have introduced. There's a couple of things I want to talk about. Anyways, what news, Ian? We'll get into it. I think load shedding just started. Yep. It's fucking back. These fucking cunts. I knew it was going to be back. How did I know this? I just knew. They didn't load shed throughout the elections, and as soon as the election's over, literally the day after elections, load shedding is back. Bro, this shit's surreal. This shit is absolutely fucking surreal. I hate my country so much. But luckily, I'm not alone. Luckily, I am not alone. So we had our elections yesterday. Take a guess how many people showed up for elections. %, Andy. 26% of the voting public of the country actually showed up to vote. That tells you that 74% of the country has no interest in voting. 74% of the country have lost any and all interest in the democratic system, which makes me happy as shit. So yeah, I mean, the ANC is going to win again. They're going to run the country for another 2 fucking years. But they've been doing it so far and can't go any worse, can it? And I mean, that's the problem with democracy, right? That's why democracy is evil. Because yes, 26% of the country will make decisions for 74% of the country. But 74% of the country can't be blamed. They're not voting because there's no reason to vote. They don't see the point in voting. Because no matter who you vote for, nothing changes. Everything stays the fucking same. Right? That's the problem with democracy. That's why democracy doesn't work. Just above the EU, so no one bothers voting. What country are you from? SBJ, by the way, is the ads done? Can I talk to you now? Classic relaunch and Season of Mastery were just live experiments for Blizzard, and they are going to reset WoW. Basically, we lose. Damascus, we'll talk about that. There's basically any and all talk of a reset of World of Warcraft have been completely removed now. The interview makes it kind of clear that there's not going to be a reset. So yeah, Bulgaria. Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I'm proud that so many people in my country no longer believe in the democratic process. Makes me happy. Blue Fairy, thank you for the gifted sub. Really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, can we get some hearts in chat for Blue Fairy redistributing that wealth? Blue Fairy, thank you very much for the sub as well. Really appreciate that. That's finished. Yeah, how's you? Shadow Grove, I am very good. Thank you much for asking. Horny Elf, no, there's not going to be a WoW 2. At least not according to the interview. But we'll get into the interview. We'll talk about all of that and more today. I'm just waiting for everyone to sort of filter in, get happy, get settled, and then we'll jump straight into it because we don't have much time. So I wanna cover as much as possible in the hour that we have. Also, I am so fucking pissed off with myself, bro. I don't have a keyboard. Like, I have a keyboard. It's like this small little thing that I had to go buy yesterday out of desperation because I was trying to send an email and my keyboard broke. I spilled my entire glass of Pepsi Max onto my keyboard, dude. My entire keyboard was soaked. And then I tried to clean it as best as possible. Got to typing, and when I hit tab, it shut down my PC. Like, tab literally shut down my fucking PC. So, I ordered a new keyboard, right? Immediately, as soon as it happened. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. I ordered a new keyboard. That keyboard's only coming probably Wednesday, Thursday maybe. So now I have to make do with this little fucking keyboard. I can't do shit on this keyboard, dude. The buttons are so weirdly added. It's a horrible keyboard. Would you get free with a PC, right? I don't know. It's a Logitech wireless keyboard. It's the only good thing about it is that it's wireless. Everything else is just, it's a useless keyboard. So yeah, I'm waiting for I bought myself a Corsair K70 brown cherry switches. So I bought a nice keyboard. It's a fucking nice keyboard. So yeah, waiting for that keyboard to get here so we can play games again. I'm not playing Final Fantasy on this. I am not playing Final Fantasy on this. I genuinely can't can't with this fucking keyboard. Whenever I try to press Alt, I hit the Windows key. Everything's in the wrong position. Everything's just weird. I don't like this keyboard. I fucking loathe this keyboard. No, I'm not against Logitech. The reason I went for Corsair is because I already have a Corsair mouse. And I don't need more software on my PC. So if I bought, say, for example, a Logitech keyboard, I would then have to install the Logitech fucking software so that the keyboard can operate, and then the mouse needs the Corsair software. It's just too much fucking software. So it's just far easier. Just screw it. You know, where in the fucking world? Never mind, I'll look for it later. Bro, it is. Look at the layout of this. Just take a look at the layout, right? Everything is so close together. Everything is so fucking close together, dude. I double press buttons. It's truly an horrendous keyboard. But I just needed to send an email. I needed to send an email and quick. Killigang, you motherfucker, comrade. Thank you so much for the 5 community subs. Did really appreciate that. Can we get some love in chat for Killigang? 5 community subs. That is awesome, dude. Really appreciate it. I needed to send an invoice for the ads that the sponsorships that we've been doing. Like, I had to get the invoice in before, I think today, actually. The 2nd today. Yes. It had to be in before the 2nd so that it can be processed to be paid on the 5th. And my keyboard wouldn't type. Like I said, I hit tab to go to the next line. And my PC just shut down. Just went into shutdown mode and was like, okay, peace out. I'm like, what the fuck is that? That's a weird shortcut, but okay, here we go. So then I had to quickly rush, go buy a new keyboard just so I could send that fucking email. Send email on your phone? I don't do shit on my phone, Shadow Grove. I refuse to write emails on my phone. I refuse to do anything on my phone that can be done on the PC. I despise my phone. I absolutely hate phones. So if I can help it, Enoch, how you doing, brother? I anything I can do on my PC, I do on my PC instead. Good news is, we've got some. We maybe have a house. We'll know closer to the 7th if the house is ours, but we may have a house in Cape Town, so that is great news. The rooms are a little bit small though. So I may actually resort to some pretty weird living arrangements where I just have like a mattress in the room that I sleep on and the rest of the room is just like a studio. I'd be willing to do that. I'd be fucking willing to do that. Just turn my entire bedroom into a studio and just sleep on the floor. That would actually be perfect, I think, because I fucking hate sleeping anyways. My PC is dead, so I'm forced to do everything on this piece of shit phone. Oh my god, no. I wouldn't be able to survive with a dead PC. Starting Final Fantasy today, how do you feel about the story? Should I try to read as much as I can? Yes, Alziga. I have a video that's coming out probably today. Depends on when Alex starts editing it. But where I talk a little bit about sort of advice for people who's starting out for the first time. Things that you need to know about Final Fantasy going into it. So I think that's going to be really cool. Dear God, I found a spicy WoW meme. What spicy WoW meme? Okay, I have someone here who messaged me. Hold up. Someone on WoW. Someone on the Blizzard launcher messaged me. I needed to get my Blizzard pass for the community sign-up thing. We get a mention about Final Fantasy Gold. You're talking about New World. Final Fantasy doesn't have a gold exploit. Yes, Shadow Grove. Please send it to me. New World has a golden exploit. I don't think Final Fantasy does. I don't know Final Fantasy well enough to even talk about exploits and stuff like that. Did you send it on Discord? Arnold! Comrade! Motherfucker! Thank you very much for redistributing that wealth, brother. Really appreciate it. Can we get some love in chat? I know that he's not redistributing the wealth to you guys, but be happy for me. I'm getting rich. Getting rich, motherfuckers. Oh, this is good. It's so elegant, so minimalistic, so good. It's a guy. Why, thank you very much, Killingham. Being a filthy commie capitalist, that's me. That's me. I am a communist capitalist. I believe in the redistribution of wealth. You guys take your wealth and you give it to me, and I'm happy. I believe in the redistribution of wealth. I don't think, personally, I think that the way wealth should work is other people should give you money to put you in the 1%. I think that's a good way of wealthing shit. Draga, thank you for tier 2 sub, dude. Really appreciate it. Comrade, holy shit. Whenever I win, you're going to be a general in my army, motherfucker. Thank you very much for the sub. Really appreciate that. Reginald, how you doing, brother? Tax the rich, exactly. Tax the rich. Chat, you guys are rich, right? As long as I don't have to do much as general, fuck it. You don't have to. It's all about taking the money and just spending it and pretending like we're doing much. Berserker, how you doing, brother? I believe in the distribution of free will, where everyone's free will is redistributed to an arbiter. No thanks. I'm from Norway, so yeah. Cripple Aid Bridge. Oh shit, Shadow Grove. Well, don't worry about it. We'll redistribute to you as well. One thing that New World has done for is given more of an appreciation of the lack of bugs that WoW has, regardless of what you think of the game. FPS Cobra, I can't really agree with that, because New World is a brand new game. New games are always going to have bugs, right? WoW is not a brand new game. It shouldn't have nearly as many bugs as it does. But that doesn't mean that New World is in a good place. New World's bugs are pretty fucked up, to be fair. Once you're in the 1%, will you give to others like us? Or just be a fuck off like the rest of them? Oh, no. No. Once I'm in the 1%, you poor fuckers can fuck right off. I will ghost you if I see you in public. Doc, how you doing, bro? I'll buy you a small bottle of oil. Do as you wish with it. Oh, shit. What oil? Fat Freedom. Nice, how you doing? WoW's Potato Code. It is bound to have more bugs over time. New World has already lost a ton of players. I played for a month and got bought myself. You should be. That is fucked up. Hey, that's how it works, right? You only preach redistribution of wealth until you get into the 1%. And then you move the fucking needle, right? I have this communism thing down to a T, bro. I know what I'm doing. But I hit 200 harvesting and 200 skinning. Look, I will say this, yeah? The one thing that New World does have going for it is, first and foremost, the environment is absolutely gorgeous, right? It's a beautiful game. And the second is the crafting system is next level cool. Like, it truly is a cool crafting system. Outside of that, New World is nothing special. There is nothing special about that game. The fact that people were freaking out about that game as much as they were makes no sense to me. I'm like, why are people going apeshit over this? It's okay. It's at best, it's okay. Dune was great. I love Dune. I mean, I don't know the story of Dune, like, I don't know the lore of it, but I thought the first movie was absolutely incredible. Really fucking enjoyed it. Because it's the first MMO to have Oceanic servers since WoW. I get that, Cobra. Pre-order Copium. And let's face it, no game trashes GPUs with the same gorgeousness as New World. Truth. I'll stick to 7 Days to Die and Final Fantasy. I started playing Death Stranding last night. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the Ian interview. Don't worry about it. Mary, how you doing? I started playing Death Stranding last night, and I think every single person that slacks off that game as a walking simulator clearly doesn't understand the game. Clearly does not understand. That game is fucking phenomenal. The story in that game is incredible. I genuinely don't understand why people slack off that game as a walking simulator, because it really isn't. I guess it's because some people don't understand the concept that is being driven. The concept of the game. If you don't understand the concept, that's where you think. But I love the fact that you have to plan stuff and you have to sort of think. You have to constantly think about stuff. It's like fucking, okay, how do I get up this cliff? I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, I can do that. But then you also have to plan stuff to sort of make things easier in the future, which is insane, right? That is absolutely insane to me. Like building bridges as a way to make your traversing certain areas easier in the future. So you're constantly thinking about the game, trying to make the game easier for yourself over time. That's phenomenal. That is absolutely fucking phenomenal. Why do you feel patronized? I loved it. Just wish they had made Gurney a bit more of a bard that he is. You have any plans playing more single-player games on stream? Lil Moonswag, how you doing? The problem usually with single-player games is that the vast majority of the community don't really care for them, right? I would love to play all of my games on stream. You know, I would absolutely adore just jumping on and being able to play whatever the fuck I want. But I also have to think about what my community wants, right? What you guys want. And most of the community wouldn't really sit through me playing, because the games that I tend to play isn't necessarily the most fun games, you know? It's not necessarily the most high adrenaline games. Games that I enjoy playing tend to be more story-driven games, you know, games with just shit tons of cutscenes, building games, like simulator games. That's the kind of stuff that I fucking enjoy, right? I found you when you played Kingdom Come Deliverance. Ah, yeah. Jesus, that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. No, but I'd be interested in doing more of that stuff, sure. I tell you what. If we get the YouTube channels to a point where I can pay Alex with the YouTube money, that's when I'll start experimenting with Twitch a little bit more. You know, because that's when I can afford to sort of stream whatever I want and see which part of the community loves which parts of what. So I can figure out a way to keep everyone happy on different days or something like that. But right now, if I were to start playing Death Stranding, for example, we'd have 20 viewers. I can guarantee you now, half of you would fuck off if I started playing Death Stranding here. Hika, how you doing? Be out of nowhere, but I would like to hear your opinion. On the old Cosmic map, we have Void Lords, but there is no Light Lords. What do you think about the theory Elune is the last Light Lord? Elune created at least one Prime Naru plus Tear of Elune. We're able to unlock her. Hika, how you doing? Thank you much for the first time chat. Really appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. I don't necessarily hate the idea. There's a couple of issues with it, considering the fact that Elune is the sister of the Winter Queen, and the Nathrazim state that light was different to them, right? So they did not. So how would Elune be the sister of the Winter Queen if Elune is actually the Lord of Light, right, or one of the Lords of Light? But I don't necessarily despise the idea. I think it could be a cool idea. If that makes sense. I do think it could be a cool idea. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's start talking. We don't have much time. Let's discuss this. World of Warcraft has just introduced the new World of Warcraft Community Council. Now, chat, I would like to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Thoughts from chat about the Community Council. Before we get into anything else, I want to hear your thoughts. As you learnt about the Community Council, you learnt about what the Community Council is all about, and more importantly, you saw the like-dislike ratio of the of this Community Council. PR move. Okay, let's quickly. I'm not going to watch all of it because we'll talk about everything, but I want to show you guys a couple of things that really bothered me.
I'm Morgan, and I'm a lead game designer for World of Warcraft.
I'm Sarah, and I'm a senior level designer.
I'm Ian, game director for WoW.
I'm Tina, and I'm a lead environment artist.
I'm Pat, the production director for WoW.
All right, first and foremost, right off the bat, this feels incredibly inorganic, right? It literally feels so robotic. So I am this is my job. Hi, I am this is my. Hi, I am this is my job. Hi, I am this is my. They don't even look into the camera. Right? It's clear that they're reading a script. They're just basically reading at me. This puts me off immediately, right? It immediately puts me off. The video itself. I'm not talking about the council. We'll get to the council. I'm just talking about the introduction. The way in which they introduced this council to us. It's very, very weird.
And I'm Holly, the lead producer of WoW Classic.
We get a lot of feedback from players, and it's great.
Why don't I believe you? We get a lot of feedback from players, and it's great. But I don't believe you. Like, you don't seem like a real person. This is the problem that I have with Blizzard in general. The Blizzard employees don't seem like real people. They seem like robots. They're speaking to us like robots. They're speaking to us with PR statements. I don't think that you think my feedback is valuable.
Watch and read as much feedback as we can.
Players telling us how they feel about the game leads directly to improvements that we make.
Yes.
It's a lot of feedback.
Which is awesome.
But we really want to zero in on the most nuanced player comments and have conversations with you.
It's just fake. We don't have to keep watching. We don't have to keep watching. It's just fake. It comes across as fake. It doesn't come across as something that comes from the heart. What would have been better here is if they got Ian Azikostas or any other developer to speak from their heart. Just one guy, one girl, not both, one guy or one girl. Get them to sit there, speak from the heart. Tell us why you think this community council is a good idea. More importantly, explain to us how this community council is going to be different to the normal forums that you guys have already. Explain to us how this community council is going to be different to the class discords that you used to have that you eventually just turned around and no longer gave a shit about. This just feels incredibly inorganic. It really made me uncomfortable watching it, which is why I gave it a dislike. Not because I dislike the system. I don't think the system is necessarily a bad idea. I dislike the deliverance of it. I don't think that this is the way that you deliver something like that. So, anyways, here's how it works. Submissions are open to any player interested in taking part in the program. Once players are selected, they'll be given the ability to post in a new discussion forum that is publicly visible to everyone. In this new forum, we'll ask members to share their experiences and perspectives on anything in the game, and some topics may be started by Blizzard developers and community managers. Responses and updates from Blizzard will be posted there, so they can easily be discussed by the entire community. A private discussion will also be set up for council members to encourage direct interaction between members. Separate conversations between smaller groups of members and Blizzard developers will be encouraged to ensure players with differing perspectives are being heard. Here's my main thing. Here's my main thing about this. And on the face of it, good change. I think this is a good move. Blizzard should have done this years ago. You should have the ability to reach out to the community far more. You should have the ability to speak to the community far more. The problem that I have with this is I have no guarantees that Blizzard will actually take this seriously. More importantly, there is an actual sign-up form, right, that I had to fill out just before I went live today. I filled out the form. I've signed up. I guarantee you I'm not going to get selected. Guaranteed I will not get selected to it. You want to know why? Because of my biggest fear. This will simply turn into another echo chamber. Blizzard will only pick the people, because in the sign-up form, you have to state how many hours do you play World of Warcraft, what kind of content do you do, right? These are the things that you have to state. And then as a content creator, I also have to share the links to my platforms, right? Personally, and this is not to toot my own horn at all, but personally, I think I would be the perfect person to be on this council. Because I'm one of those people that hate World of Warcraft at the moment, and I want World of Warcraft to be better. It's one of the reasons I keep making videos about World of Warcraft, is because I want the game to be better. I will not be invited to that forum because of how I speak about World of Warcraft, because I don't suck their dicks whenever they do bad shit. I don't bend over backwards to try and defend the bad shit that they do. I actually call them out on their bullshit. I actually say, hey, fuck you. What is that? I don't think they want that. Now, not going to judge. Maybe I do get invited. Maybe Balil gets invited. Well, Balil will probably definitely get invited. Maybe even Asmongold gets invited to this if he actually signed up. But my fear is that this is just going to turn into another echo chamber. It's going to turn into a forum with a bunch of WoW developers, WoW content creators that I won't mention, that will basically just push their own agendas, constantly just suck the dick of the Blizzard developers, going, oh my god, this is such a cool system. This system is so cool, and everyone who doesn't like the system just doesn't understand the system. I actually saw, you guys know that Blizzard sort of went back on their whole Covenant story campaign skip, and the usual content creators were out in full force going, people just don't understand how the Covenant skip was supposed to work. It's actually working as intended. Kind of going, no, it's not. You were supposed to be able to skip the Covenant story. You're no longer able to skip the Covenant story. This was what was promised and what is given is not the same. But of course, I think those people are going to be the ones who makes it onto this council. At the end of the day, I think that's the biggest problem within Blizzard Entertainment, is the fact that they are just completely and utterly inundated within their echo chamber. They have no ability to understand that their echo chamber is the reason the game is dying. It's the reason that the game is killing itself. Mementos, how you doing? So yeah, I'm not necessarily against I'm not against this community outreach program. I think I would like if more of these things happened. I would love if there was more of this. At the very least, I would love if the Blizzard developers spoke to us more, and not like this. Not like this video, where they're basically speaking at us. I mean, speak with us, right? Speak to us. Speak to us. Explain to us the differences, the decisions that you make, why you make certain decisions, what those decisions entail, why certain things can or can't happen. These are things that Blizzard should be doing more of, and this is a good step in the right direction. I just don't know how it's going to be implemented, or if it's even going to be implemented well. Are they going to listen? Do you guys think in a year from now, Blizzard is still going to be listening to the people who are in this community forum? If it's Cobra, exactly that. Do what fucking YouTubers do, Do what I do whenever I talk about something. Give us something real. Talk from the heart. Explain to players the reasoning behind things that you do, right? Explain to people the principled approach, the philosophy that goes into things. Don't just don't just give us changes with no explanation of where those changes come from. When have they done that? When have they done what during us? Of course not. They won't even listen from the start. They'll just pretend to. I don't think they'll just pretend to. I think they are currently stressed out. They are currently worried. I think they are going to pay a lot of attention to this in the beginning. But I think this is going to ultimately go the same route as the Discord class servers, right? For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, Blizzard used to have Discord class servers, yeah? The Discord class servers were all of the theory crafters in World of Warcraft. They were on these servers with Blizzard developers and they were giving feedback on changes that Blizzard were making to classes. It used to be a very back and forth thing. So Blizzard would introduce a change or a proposed change to a class, and the theory crafters would immediately come in and say, hey, this is not going to work. And then Blizzard and the theory crafters would have a back and forth, and changes would be made based on the theory crafters' feedback. Most of the theory crafters have left the theory crafter discords, the Blizzard Discord specifically, because they said eventually it just became a no, I'm the game developer, I know better. So all of the discussion sort of ended, and the developers know better, they'll do whatever the fuck they want, right? So this is sort of my fear. I think we might go this exact same route. I'd be interested to know what you guys think. Although based on my chat, I'm pretty sure most of you aren't on board with us. They don't care. They already did this. They had private forums for with influencers that didn't work. The devs shat on them. Some of those influencers came out last year. This is the same thing. True, Ascension. Only I've said it before. I would love to see the WoW devs in a sort of Joe Rogan style podcast, right? Where the devs actually have 2-3 hour discussions about changes and stuff that they're making. I would fucking love that. It would be amazing to see that. Will we get that? Probably not. Probably not. All right. Next story for today. We are talking about Ian Hazikostas. He's just been interviewed by Venture Beat, and there's some spicy stuff in this interview. Right? There is some spicy stuff in this interview. So it starts off World of Warcraft in the middle of extraordinary times. The MMO turning 17 years. Yeah, no one cares. Last week I had a chance to talk with World of Warcraft director Ian Hazikostas. It's a long and frank discussion, and you can read the edited transcript from the exchange below. All right, GameSpeed. The World of Warcraft team has been changing or removing some of the game's emotes and art. What's the thought process behind those changes? As we said in, I think, a brief blog, a forum post, this has been a process that has been ongoing as a result of an internal period of self-reflection over the last few months. These are changes that are coming from the team as a whole in the discussions we began internally, in the aftermath of the lawsuit and everything surrounding that on many levels, trying to understand how we as the current leadership of the team could do better. Better for our team, better for our community. I hate the fact that he says better for our community. What do you mean? The community doesn't want this. So this is not better for the community. This is just better for the team. The community doesn't want the changes that you guys have been fucking pushing. So one thing that came up is that there are pieces of our game that over the course of the 17 plus years now that were not necessarily the products of a diverse or inclusive range of voices, that did not necessarily reflect the perspectives of the current team and of many of our players. No, not many of your players. A small fucking minority of your players. If you look at the downvotes that your games are getting, your announcements are getting, it's not many of your players. It's the minority. It's a very small fucking minority of unstable Twitter folk that are happy with these changes. The rest of us, the normal people, we're not happy with these changes. We don't follow these changes, and we think your developers are dumb for wanting the fucking changes. These are many things that people over the years have pointed out in the community, but we didn't necessarily listen in the way we should have at the time. What we did was we just set up a process internally for folks across the team, as well as sourcing some feedback from the community, blah, 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 blah. As a random example, there were a number of jokes and references made a dozen years ago about how feminine male blood elves were, mistaking male blood elves for women, just poking fun at that in not a necessarily good-spirited way. But male blood elves are very effeminate. Male blood elves are extremely effeminate, so I don't see the point. I don't see the problem. That doesn't sit right in 2021. It only doesn't sit right with the unstable fucks on Twitter. No one else cares. That's the sort of thing that was reviewed by a broad group that reflects the diversity of our team today. We made decisions on whether to leave some things standing because they're borderline, but we're not looking to reinvent everything, turn over every single stone and rewrite 17 years of WoW. You actually kind of are. You are actually. I will not be surprised if World of Warcraft turns out like the future content of World of Warcraft just gets bland as fuck. Eleanor, how you doing? This is something that is really making a game feel less welcoming for people, which is what we're aiming to change. The game was welcome to people. I don't necessarily agree with this, but fuck it, let's just continue. Because of the nature of the feedback loop in the community, the way we publish new builds during the public test round cycle and fan sites data mining them, every one of these changes ends up getting a huge spotlight shown on it alongside class balance changes or new systems we're adding. This is a massive patch, but it's not something that took the entire team offline. In the grand scheme of things, these are small changes. Many of them, yeah, no one gives a fuck. What's the community's reaction to these changes been like? All right, let's see if Ian can read the community. Mixed, right? Some of it is confusion. No, very few of it is confusion. Not in the way that you think. The confusion is how fucking stupid are you? Changes started to be seen before we explained why we were doing what we were doing. And then when you explained why you were doing what you were doing, the vast majority of us still looked at it and said, nope, don't agree with that. I can certify the statement. All right, how so, Eleanor? There's a range of folks. You have folks who see this as political or unwelcome. It is political. It is fucking 100% political. Ian, you and I, come onto my show, Ian. I invite you onto the show on Sunday night. I will give you ample time to make your fucking point. If you want to do it on Twitch, we can do it on Twitch. I will give you all the time in the world to make your point as to how this is not political. This is 100% out of the current administration's playbook. How is this not political? This is political. And I don't care about which political party you belong to. I think everyone knows that this is just one side of the aisle being represented, and not even everyone on that side of the aisle is being represented by these changes. So no, this is political. I don't give a fuck that it's political, by the way. I don't care. If you want to make political changes in your game, go for it. Make political changes in your game. But at least then be honest about it, you know? At least then be honest about it. So, yeah. Just focus on making, folks, it is political and welcome. Just focus on making a fun game. Days, how you doing, brother? Just focus on making a fun game. I don't care about this stuff. And I don't see how are Blood Elves hyper masculine in today's culture. On the other hand, there are those who have expressed concern that we're almost doing this as a smokescreen rather than actually tackling the hard issues. We're just changing some words in a game. This isn't an or, it's an and. Yeah, and stop fucking doing it, please. Stop fucking doing it. As a process of reality managers for sharing feedback. Okay, never mind. All of this is just more about how they're changing the team to make it more diverse, which isn't a bad thing necessarily. But I'm not going to read through all of it. You mentioned how some people say, why do this instead of that? One thing they mention is tackling in-game toxicity. Can you talk about what Blizzard is doing to combat that inside the game? For many people, they're unpleasant, they're painful. WoW experiences aren't the result of a line an NPC said, but something that was said to them in party chat, or jokes they saw in general chat, or otherwise. We've been working to improve our handling of this in all fronts. On all fronts, we've been consulting with the Overwatch team and our broader shared tech group to use machine learning to better catch a lot of these things in real time, as opposed to relying on a very manual reporting-driven process. That's what WoW was built around 17 years ago, and that sort of process maybe works well with someone who's spamming sales or whatever in Orgrimmar. Spamming sales. Okay, so why are the people who's spamming sales in Orgrimmar not being banned if that process works so well with the people spamming sales? I don't at all agree. If it works well, there would be no one selling and spamming shit in Orgrimmar. But anyways, Alrexon, thank you for the follow, dude. But it doesn't work so well when it's a one-off hateful comment that's just written to someone or something said in the party chat in the dungeon. I absolutely agree that Blizzard should take a stance against hateful shit in the game. People should not be accosting one another in game. It should not be allowed, and if you can crack down on it, go for it. We have a lot to do here, but it's a number one focus for our customer support, our tech groups, and everyone involved in the social side of WoW gameplay. We want WoW and Azeroth to be a positive place and escape from the trials and tribulations of the world. We need to do a lot more to insulate players' experiences from others who are coming in there to actively cause harm. We want to identify those people, hopefully reform them, but if not, remove them from the community, and the game will be better for it. You're going to be removing a lot of people from your game, by the way. You mentioned making the team more diverse. Can you talk about that effort? I'm not going to go through this entire portion, but I will say I like what they're doing, right? Ian actually goes in this portion. He does actually speak to how they approach hiring. For example, instead of taking the first 20 CVs that come in and just picking the best possible candidate from those 20, the first CVs that they get will almost always be white males, as he explains himself, right? Will almost always be white males. And he said it. It's not that they won't be hiring someone that is absolutely equipped to do the job. It's just that they'll be hiring someone that is, the same as a lot of people in Blizzard already. And I've said this before, especially in game design. What you want is you want a diverse group of people to make your game, right? You want people from different backgrounds and different ideas and different schools of ideas. The problem, however, that I see with that is that skin color alone does not necessarily guarantee a difference of opinion. Because you absolutely get white people and black people that think exactly the same about certain things, right? Not all black people think exactly the same. Not all white people think exactly the same. What you want is a diverse group of people that have genuine differences of opinion on certain things, right? So maybe you do want a couple of Republican fucking developers in your company, right? Who's going to think about certain things in a very different way. And you want people from the Green Party or whatever fucking parties you have in the US, right? Some libertarians inside Blizzard Entertainment. So you want people from that form diverse opinion groups. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't also go for some diversity in terms of race, because there's experiences that's going to differ in how you were brought up and how you grew up, how you saw the world as a child. That's great, and it makes games better. So I absolutely have no problem with anything that Ian says in this post by trying to make the game more diverse. I have no problem with that. As long as, and this is the one thing that I will say, as long as you don't start hiring people that do not deserve to be there, right? So do not, for the love of fuck, start hiring people just because they're X, Y, or Z, but they don't actually have the qualifications to do the job. Because at that point, what you're doing is you're just making things worse, right? Because you're putting people into positions that they're not ready for, that they should not be doing, and you most likely end up fucking over a future superstar developer because you threw them into an environment that they weren't ready for, right? So for me, I don't mind anything that he said here as long as they keep that in mind. What kind of changes have you noticed inside of Blizzard in the past few months? There are conversations happening at all levels. I can speak to what we're doing in the WoW team. There are changes that is happening. So he's just talking about basically lost in the shadow of specific incidents of harassment or criminal activity or countless little microaggressions and transcripts. So I don't actually know what a microaggression is, but based on what I've Googled, it seems made up. So I'm just going to pretend like Ian just fucking sort of mumbled something there and then moved on to actually speaking about Saints. Because microaggressions seem to be aggressions that weren't actually planned as aggressions, but can be perceived as aggressions by the person that is listening to whatever the fuck you're saying. That is the most made up shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. So, no. Microaggressions, not real. And people talking over others in meetings or people taking credit, that's not good, right? You shouldn't be talking over people, especially in meetings. Meetings are supposed to be, hey, you get a chance to speak, you get a chance to speak, everyone gets a chance to fucking speak, right? So, yeah, that should definitely not happen. Dismissing their accomplishments, a lot of what we heard in listening sessions and focus groups, talking to the team as a whole and all the members of the team, especially the women in the team, in light of the allegations and events of the recent months, has led us to an increased focus on that sensitivity and trying to build a culture where everyone is aligned in the sort of workplace that we want. We're working together to build it. It's okay and encouraged and fine to call someone out if they interrupted a colleague or if they just talked over someone, talked past someone. The person receiving that feedback, hopefully, and I've seen this happen on a number of occasions, just says thank you. That wasn't my intent. I didn't realize I was doing that. It's assuming good intent, but working to educate, working to align around a positive culture. I have to say, I've been inspired. It's been a challenge for a few months, but I've been incredibly inspired by the team as a whole. Yeah. I will say this, though. I have a feeling that all of this is going to backfire. There's been a couple of instances now in companies where they sort of tried to do this retraining and re-education of people, and it ends up backfiring in the most glorious of fucking ways, because you always have bad people who act in bad faith and take shit too far. So what is morale like for the WoW team right now? Sometimes you guys take a bit of a beating anyways, but that's been amplified lately. What is the feeling like inside the studio? I feel like core bullshit diluted with buckets of unnecessary words. True, but we're getting to the fun stuff. This is why I'm sort of skipping over all of this, right? I'm sort of skipping over most of this because this is all boring crap. There's some fun WoW stuff, actual WoW stuff a bit later on in the fucking interview. Ups and downs, I think that it's been clearly a tough stretch. A lot of self-reflection, a lot of earnest conversations, disappointment, anger, all of that. But at the end of the day, what the team, as we work on these issues, we're also here to make a great game. That's what brought everybody to Blizzard. That's what brought everybody to the WoW team. While we work to improve and a lot of these conversations happen, we also know that we have millions of players who are waiting for the next update to WoW. We want to hear about what's coming next. A lot of the efforts that led us to what went into 9.15 were actually really exciting, invigorating moments for the team. On top of our standard plan set of features for 9.15, what do you mean plan sets of features for 9.15? 0.5 patches have no fucking plan features. What are you talking about? Our standard plan features for 9.15. 0.5 patches have no plan features. They're basically just fucking bug updates that you're too lazy to do during the patch, during the normal play cycle. Like Legion, Time Walking, or other updates, let's take some time and just almost have a little hackathon. Do whatever you want to do. That you think will make the game more fun. Pitch your ideas, let's go in. I actually like this. I like the fact that they gave the team a little bit of freedom and said, hey, do whatever the fuck you want to do. See how much fun stuff you can put into a single PTR. What I don't like is that they then took all of those fun stuff and put them once again on a fucking timer. That'll never make sense to me. They put all the fun stuff on a timer. Whether it's ult rates being frustrating to farm solo or whatever else, and let's solve them. The team as a whole just fanned out, came back with ideas and pitches, and that's what a lot of the 9.15 was born out of. I don't actually believe you, Ian. I don't believe you. I think you guys opened YouTube, you opened the forums, you opened Reddit, you went to history, you looked at the multitudes and multitudes and multitudes of videos of content creators talking about things that World of Warcraft need. You went to the forums and you saw all the things the players have been saying for years now about what World of Warcraft needs, and you finally just implemented what players say to you. I don't think the team as a whole fanned out and found ideas that were good. They just used the players' ideas for the first time fucking ever. That creative energy, that expression. We're here to make a game for our community that's going to bring joy, bring happiness to people around the world. As we reflect on the tough times and work to move past them, we also are driven by and motivated by that underlying purpose. If we do our jobs well, we're a positive force in the world. We're bringing fun to people. We're bringing happiness. That's what we want to do. Then start fucking doing it. Okay, here we go to the more fun stuff, right? The future of World of Warcraft. There are a lot of quality of life improvements coming in 9.15, and a lot of people are excited about those things, but a lot of people have expressed some frustration that they didn't happen sooner. Do you think there's something in the feedback loop that Blizzard can improve? Absolutely. We can always do better at listening to feedback. I recall now, I think roughly 4 interviews since Legion where this line has been spoken about every single time with Ian Azikostas. Every single time the expansion fails miserably, Ian Azikostas comes out and says, we can always do better at listening to feedback. We can also do better at communicating that we've heard feedback, but aren't necessarily acting on it for whatever reason. This would be great if you guys could actually fucking start doing that. If you heard our feedback, explain why. Explain why you've heard the feedback, but you're not making the changes, or taking it under advisement and keeping an eye on it. This is feedback that, as the community pointed out, we've heard on many fronts going back to beta. In some areas, we were wrong. The community said, hey, we think that Conduit Energy is going to be this frustrating system, and it's not going to have the effects that you hope it has. Our intent was similar to classic WoW respec costs, that it would be a friction that made you take these choices more seriously, but not ultimately lock you in permanently. In practice, it ended up just being something that players shaved against. We heard that from them and should have changed our minds there sooner. The problem here isn't actually that it's the classic WoW respec cost. There's nothing wrong with having respec costs if the respecs that you're making is actually fun and interesting. The problem is you wanted to make a really boring system seem fun and interesting because you want to lock us into fucking choices. In other areas, it's about watching the mainstream of the WoW player base, the broad range of the player base evolve, watching how they're playing the game, what we hear from more than just folks who are content creators or high-end raiders or PvPers, who we know have a specific playstyle. But one of the challenges in designing WoW is that there's a dozen different playstyles. Many of them are not as vocally or prominently represented. So what we hear from people who are trying to do high-end raiding and also push with keystones, having to choose one covenant and not being able to use the two freely for these systems was frustrating. We understood that. It wasn't surprising to us. We knew that if this was your orientation to the game, if you're a min-max player, you're going to want to always be optimal. But as we articulated, the goal of the design team was that the core RPG choice, that feeling of a weighty decision, of picking this path versus that path, of having a different story you experience versus that what your friends experienced, was going to provide a better experience for a majority of players. And over time, what we continued to hear was even those who initially appreciated that choice, that diversity of experience months into the game down the line, once they played through those stories, once they've seen it, particularly on alts, they too just wanted ease of change. That led us to that place there. I could have told you that from the fucking start, Ian. But what's more is Ian doesn't seem to understand the fundamental reason why the covenants don't work. First and foremost, if you wanted to have a covenant storyline choice that made sense as an RPG, right, in an RPG sense, like I said from the beginning, you have to remove the power levels. There can't be any power gain within RPG elements inside an MMO. That's their biggest issue. Ian doesn't seem to understand that he's a developer of an MMO. There are some things that you just fundamentally cannot do within an MMO. And one of them is locking player power choices behind barriers and boundaries. Meaning that you fuck yourself over if you make the wrong choice. Because there are wrong choices, and Blizzard keeps believing that they can balance the game. But a lot of what goes into 9.15 isn't a one-off. It's a reflection of us changing a lot of the underlying philosophies that have motivated our approach to designing WoW. A lot of these things, like I mentioned regarding conduit energy, are outgrowths of lessons that were taught to us by our predecessors. So wait, is he blaming the old guard in World of Warcraft now? Is this shifting the blame? Big Ronnie, I've already applied. I won't be accepted, but I've already applied. Is anyone else having glitchy sound or video? Yeah, he's literally blaming the old guard. Taught to us by our predecessors, by the founders and the leaders of the team, about the importance of meaningful choice, the importance of preserving character investment. Yeah, what? So there is skips. Why? I'm not having any problems on my end. This seems stable. I wonder why this is happening. I'm sorry, guys. I genuinely don't know what to do about that. Might just be the internet that's a little bit fucked. I'll explain. Let me explain this to Ian because he doesn't seem to understand. Ian, the importance of meaningful choice, the importance of preserving character investment. You guys haven't fucking done that. You guys haven't done that in years. It's been absolute fucking ages since you've last actually preserved character investment. With every new patch, you remove all of the investment. You make all of the investment from the previous patch completely null and void. And you're saying this is really the problems that we had with the things we've been taught by our predecessors. The old guard really is to blame for this. No, you're to blame for this because you don't preserve character investment. What you do is you basically ask us to keep doing the same shit over and over and over and over and over and over again because you keep resetting us at the beginning of every new fucking patch. So we have to keep doing it again. That's your problem, Ian. It's that you didn't take the lessons of your predecessors. You didn't listen to what your predecessors told you. The lessons that they've taught you, you've not focused. But let's continue. That may have led us to not being friendly to alt gameplay and people's ability to get caught up on their alts. The reality is the way people play the game has evolved. What was the right answer for the WoW player base and for the game 15 years ago may not be today. There's some stubbornness, but clinging to those old lessons, some things are hard to let go of when your training and your education as a designer and a developer on the team led to having these things installed in you. Oh my god, never mind. So 915, you can't teach Ian. The dude doesn't even take the right lessons from his failures. He literally fails and then takes the wrong fucking lesson from his failure by just doing the very thing that's going to make him fail again. So 915 reflects a shift towards more alt accessibility, more catch-up, more sensitivity and respect for players' time. This is the one part that I do agree with him. Trying to look at what sorts of activities are going to be interesting once or twice, but maybe less interesting when you have to do them more than that. Let's not make you do them more than that. Versus which activities are part of that core repeatable loop, like running dungeons or PvP at max level. Things people want to get into without as many hurdles they have to clear on the way. That sort of approach is going to motivate how we approach our next patch in Shadowlands, which we'll talk about in the not too distant future and expansions to follow. This is the only good lesson that he took from it, is yes, people want to be able to do the things that they care about without having to jump over every single hurdle in the fucking book. Person for John, he's a raid designer at the end of the day. True. Talking about community requests and maybe stubbornness is something like cross-faction raiding a bit more on the radar as a possibility these days. I'd say that it is a bit more on the radar, yes. This is actually a good thing. That's one of those areas where a lot of things to solve, a lot of things to figure out to make it happen. But at the end of the day, if Jaina and Thrall are working alongside each other in the raid, why can't Alliance and Horde players also work alongside each other in that raid? Especially when we know it's going to solve a lot of the social problems people are grappling with, particularly trying to keep a high-end Alliance guild together in North America or a Horde one in Oceania. You talked about 9.2 a bit, but beyond that, should we expect a 0.5 or a 0.3 for this expansion cycle? Or will it be 9.2 and then looking towards the next thing? Here's where things get somewhat interesting. We'll be talking a bit more about the conclusion to Shadowlands in more detail in the future. Yes, 9.2 is coming. You'll be hearing about that more soon. We do have more planned after that, but it's hard to say too much more without almost spoiling some of the story that's going to come. We'll have a lot of details on that soon, but we want to be able to explain it in full context of what 9.2 is going to be. Do you guys think this is 9.25 and 9.3 confirmed? There is zero word, but he does say, technically, that 9.2 isn't the end of their story. It is obviously ambiguous. Obviously, Draga. The question is why? Alright, we've seen the story and setting for Warcraft get bigger and more cosmic. Some people like that and some people don't, but I guess I wonder, is it possible to go back? Or is the genie out of the bottle as far as the size and scope of what we're fighting? I don't think it is, no. That's definitely feedback we hear as well. There are some who like that escalation. We faced the Titans. What comes next? Let's go through the whole cosmology. There are others who miss just being in an inn in Alwyn Forest, being an adventurer on a more humble scale. At this point, the WoW protagonists are heroes. You've done a lot of stuff. You'll probably never go back to being anonymous adventurers in the forest. But Azeroth is the heart of the WoW franchise, and it started with orcs and humans and dwarves and night elves and the rest. We want to get back to that too. There's room to tell a big cosmic scale story, and there's also room for more traditional core fantasy. That's not something we want to lose sight of, even going all the way back. This isn't necessarily something new. The first expansion for WoW was going to Outland. We had the Draenei coming in effectively spaceships and landing on Azeroth. There was a lot of cosmic stuff there, but we want to cover the whole gamut. It's something we think about when we're planning expansions as well. We maybe alternate between something that's more traditional and terrestrial and then something that's higher concept. In order to explain why Shadowlands failed, I would need to make a whole video, and I've made videos that touched on certain things like that. But one thing that I can say to Ian and the team is that Shadowlands did not fail because of higher cosmic level stuff. It failed because of how you implemented the higher cosmic level stuff. I do think that going back to Azeroth right now is the best way. This patch is adding Legion time walking. We're getting Mage Towers back. Is the team thinking more about ways to bring back old content? It's something that we're slowly working our way towards. There's a tremendous amount of content that needs to be, in many cases, manually retouched and updated to work in this way. Things that we've done over the years, like adding scaling to the old content, so that even now you can level from 10 to 50 in any of the expansions instead of having a fixed linear path where you have to level all of them piecemeal. This is actually one of the biggest mistakes, I think. Wait, did it crash? Did the stream crash? Is it very... You guys can see my stream, right? You can see my stream. You can see that nothing's wrong. Look at that. The bar is perfect. Bit lagging, sound is fine. Just being chunky, and just freezing every now and then. This must be a Twitch thing, because okay, I genuinely fucking don't know what's going on. Because my stream is fine. The bitrate is good. There's no drop frames. Nothing's going wrong on my side. It must be Twitch. That's just fucking up like it does, you know. But alright. In many cases, manually retouch and update to work in this way. Things we've done over the years, like adding scaling to the old content. This, by the way, is my biggest issue. The fact that you can just basically choose whatever the fuck you want to do without actually having to play the whole story. Things like time walking, these are vehicles and steps that move us closer to a world where we can make better use of all that we've built as it suits our story. We're not quite there yet, but we want to keep expanding those efforts, pulling more raids into our time walking system. A lot of discussions about what outdoor world time walking might look like. That could be really cool, actually. And whether there are periods where there will be exciting stuff that will make you want to return to Pandaria or Draenor. As we've seen, when a specific storyline does tie into an old area, we will send you back to High Mountain or Val Shara and Legion to play through a modern questline set in the old area. You mentioned earlier that the game's almost 17 years old. Is there a point where it's just too old, with too many story threads, too many systems, and a reboot becomes too enticing to ignore? And here comes the Ian crushing the hopes and dreams of every person ever who really wanted to, you know, play the game. Zofia, comrade, thank you very much for the 5 community subs, redistributing that wealth to me. Thank you for some love and chat for Zofia and the 5 community subs. I really appreciate that, Zofia. I don't think so. We're always thinking about what is the future of WoW, not just a year or two from now, but 5 or 10 years. Within this world where there are plenty of stories we still have to tell, places to visit, and improvements to make. We want to learn lessons and keep building on these foundations. In a lot of ways, having that 17 years of content is a huge strength. It's an incomparable strength. But we also need to be mindful of managing the overall bloat in our systems. That's kind of what some of the efforts we did in Shadowlands, like squishing and streamlining leveling. So a new player coming aboard can play through a modern starting experience, play through Battle for Azeroth, and jump right into Shadowlands, rather than being overwhelmed by 120 levels and a whirlwind tour of 15 years worth of content, much of which is old. But even as we curate and maintain what that experience is, we have this wealth to draw upon. What I don't get, Commander Alba, thank you for the 2 months up, really appreciate that. 5 months in a row, comrade. Thank you. Why do they sell this as a good thing? Why do they say that it's great for a new player to start off jumping straight into Battle for Azeroth? Because it's not great. That's, to me, not a good thing. I don't think that's good. Because it means that the new player doesn't have a fucking clue what the story is all about. And our intent is to keep evolving upon those foundations. We'll remove some parts that are old and crusty. We'll add a lot of exciting new ones. But there are millions of folks who are excited to play WoW, and we'll keep supporting it for as long as that's the case. Here's my final thoughts to Ian based on the final sort of 2 questions that he received. Ian and your team, go back, redesign the entire questing experience for World of Warcraft from vanilla to modern day. Design it in such a way that a player starts at level 1 and plays through the entirety of the story of vanilla, of TBC, of Wrath. Design it in such a way that players get to experience dungeons and raids far sooner. So much like what they do in Final Fantasy, let people do ICC when they finally hit the end of ICC, of Wrath of the Lich King. When they hit the end of Wrath, let them have to do ICC. Let them have to kill Arthas. Let them see why Arthas was killed, how Arthas was killed, what happened there. Curate it in such a way that it's not overwhelming, that it doesn't take hundreds of thousands of hours for players to get through the whole story. Do it in such a way that you can easily do it in, you know, a month, maybe a little bit more. But by the time you hit max level, every player in World of Warcraft know and understand the story that they just played through. They know the characters that they're going to be interacting with. They know the storylines. They understand the way of the game. This is what I would like to see for World of Warcraft as a little pet project. Get a couple of developers on that and just start working with it. Because I think that ultimately is what's going to make the game a hell of a lot more friendly to new players. I think that's what's going to make the game friendly to new players. Anyway, that's it. I'm not entirely sure if Ian even understands half of the problems for for World of Warcraft, but hey, it is what it is, right? Can we refresh everything? Shamanita, I do agree with you. I 100% agree with you. We do need... we don't need a Yoshi P. We just need an Ian who actually sits and thinks deeply about the problems of the game and how the problems of the game can be fixed. That's all we really need. Wait, is the earnings call today? I don't think so. I didn't see anything. I have no idea, actually. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we've been together for about an hour and 10 minutes. As I said to you all, today's going to be a bit of a short stream. Tomorrow will be a normal stream. We should be able to hang out tomorrow normally. We'll play Final Fantasy as soon as I get my new keyboard. As soon as I no longer have to use this piece of shit. I'd be happy to play Final Fantasy again. Right now, on this keyboard, can't fucking do it. I can't play any games on this keyboard. I'm playing Death Stranding with my fucking controller. And you guys know how I hate controllers. Because, yeah, this keyboard is just not working. But right now, I have to go do a bunch of errands. I have so much shit that I have to go do in town. I fucking hate it. I have gym today. So it's going to be... today is the queue through... Is it? Okay. Draga, I'll definitely be focusing on that. You can expect the video probably a bit later today then, as soon as that is public knowledge, because I'd be very interested to see what those numbers for WoW look like. Like, how many players have they lost, if they even going to tell us that. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. I thank all of you for coming out, for hanging out with me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Let's see if there's someone that we can raid. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, Rage Darling is on. Fuck it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to go say hello to Rage Darling. She's raided us a number of times in the past, so don't be dicks. Go say hello, at least. Go say hello. You know, even if you fucking want to go do something else or want to go watch something else, do not be a dick. Go say hello to her. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, take care of yourselves, and I'm going to see all of you in the next one. Degenerates. Peace.